Bright young stars in the Super League. Round 11 gets underway in the Betfred Super League here at the Totally Wicked Stadium. It's Saints against the Dragons. A wickedly bouncing ball is dealt with by the former Saint Théophage, and the Dragons will have first use of the ball. And interestingly, that Saints going from left to right tonight in the first half, something they normally like to do in the second half here. Dragons then with the Costa in at dummy half. We'll get the ball away. Sarte gets it away, and Dragons looking to put it through hands. Back-to-back defeats for them in League and Cup. And we're hoping that they can get back to winning ways here. Big collision on Sarte, but he finds an offload. It's juggled. It went backwards. Was it touched? Not by a Saints, as the referee, Liam Moore. But that's the first of many big collisions tonight.
Yeah, Matty Lee's just trying to impose himself there on Chris Sarte. And rocks his head back. Oh, look at that.
Last one here for the Dragons. They're going down the short side. Fage will thump it downfield. There's Wellesby. Maybe misjudged that in the sunlight. Ball will roll to the goal line. What's the chase like? Looks pretty decent. Got to get their man, though. They've got to get him. And they get him inside the 10. This is the angle. That's what he had, the sun there. A real problem in this first half.
Yeah, but a good chase off the back of it. And Catalan now just trying to make sure that Saints don't advance up the field. Mark Percival with a carry. Here comes Sailor off the wing.
Well, Saints are used to starting hot when it comes to the Super League, and that's backed up. Look at that, only Hull Kingston Rovers more tries than them in the opening 10 minutes. So can Saints get off to a flyer here on home soil? Here now, the ball working its way across to Wellesby, gets it away, beautiful hands, finds Sailor. He's quick, puts back in, and here may well come the first Saints try. They're going to race away, and it's Whitby. Whitby tackled, but will bounce his way over. And Saints do have a sensational start. Or do they? Or do they? It looked like Whitby got there, but has he grounded it correctly?
Have a try.
Liam Moore thinks so on field. Let's hear from Jack Smith.
Tackle 4, we've got a live decision to try. We're reviewing obstruction. Wellesby's in possession. Passes to Percival. This is all okay at this point. It's the one from on Navarrete. We might need camera 4, might be better than this high behind, just to see where Wellesby is. Camera 4, please, and back onto the contact. Going back. Right, run it through now. Keep going. Let's go forwards, please. We establish this is all okay at this point. Wellesby's a support runner there, and Navarrete just goes to him. We'll run this through now to grounding, please. Close in on grounding. That's momentum that takes him over and onto the line. I've made my decision.
There you go, pretty straightforward in the end, but Saints going the length of the field down that right-hand side. And George Whitby over for his first Super League try of the season. Just the start that St Helens and Paul Wellens needed. It is a 4-pointer again in the opening 10 minutes for Saints.
Yeah, and it'll certainly calm one or two nerves here inside this ground. We mentioned that both sides are under pressure. And this young George Whitby, he turns 19 on Saturday, Mark. He's been given a gift there. The catch and pass from Percival, the footwork from Sailor, and the support play from young Whitby. Means Paul Wellens can get this game off to a 4-point start with a kick to come.
Not the start the Dragons would have wanted. They had Saints penned in their own 10, but they couldn't keep them there. And here now is Whitby looking to convert his own try, 64%. And this one just 10 in from touch, right-hand side. The Saints look to add the 2 to the 4 they already have. It's a pretty good strike. Straight down the middle it goes. Saints lead by 6. 3 minutes on the clock.
Well, George Whitby scores a try in his debut in August, but this is in first of 2025. The catch and pass from Percival. And then Tristan Sailor just standing up Smith. Whitby in support. And that'll please the home fans.
Yeah, stay behind.
Restart then goes towards this sunlit side of the field. Well taken over on this near side. And now an opportunity for Saints to build on the back of that early success. Here is Sirinen. Tackled on the 20. Knowles, centre of the field. Was that high? The crowd thought so. Referee didn't. Here it is again. Ball back on the angle here for Lees. Powers up the middle. Such a key part of this Saints pack. Well, they struggled for points against Leeds at the Magic weekend. They've already passed their total there. And here's a potential 40-20 kick. And it's got... Well, it's picked up by Aspero Bichet. Just needed one more kick forward there, but a good kick and not the worst set in the world on the back of points.
No, you're right, Mark. They're able to get the kick away. And a loose pass again. And Saints taking meters off the Dragons here.
This has been a very, very rusty start for Steve McNamara's side. He said they were full of energy and ready to go. They have lost a couple of star men from last week's defeat to Hull Kingston Rovers. And this wasn't the start that McNamara would have wanted.
Yeah, the squad's certainly getting tested at this moment in time. You're right, the Dragons have got a number of players out. Partington, neat little bit of footwork there just to beat Walmsley, land on his front, tackle 5 here.
And here now is Farge again, launches it downfield. This time Wellesby will collect it on the full on the 20. He brings it forward and he's hit hard and tackled just short of the 40.
Yeah, good kick pressure there from Morgan Knowles on former teammate Theo Farge, of course, 140 games at Saints.
Well, there they go now, they're looking to get it to Saylor. Dancing feet gets him up to the 40. They will play it now, fires it to Percival. He's hit hard and pushed back just short of the halfway line. Saints with tackles in hand here. Whitby gets it, moves it across now. Walmsley carries up towards halfway. Clark jumps in at dummy half, finds Knowles. Knowles looks to pass, then looks to get through a gap. But Ulrich da Costa closed that gap pretty quickly. But Saints inside the 40, last one. Whitby the target, Whitby goes high. Aspero Bichet waits, here comes the chaser. Wellesby's after him, he catches it, but he's caught in goal. And it's going to be a goal line dropout. Jack Wellesby making things happen for Saints again.
Yeah, beautiful burst of acceleration there from Wellesby. He knew that Aspero Bichet was just going to catch that ball and he had to make him play. And Wellesby all over him. It's a wonderful take from the French fullback, but the chase was equal to measure.
It's a pinpoint kick. A yard further, he catches it in goal. It's a 7-tackle restart.
Yeah, that's what you get with young George Whitby. His kicking game is something that perhaps St Helens haven't had. And when you chase it like that.
Are they going to go short here? No, they're not. Ball hammered downfield. Whitby collects, and here they go. Lees throws himself. Utter disregard for his own well-being there. Lays down the platform. Here goes Walmsley. Big start for Saints. Could be about to get very, very good indeed if they can add to it here. Clark working, gets it away to Whitby, turns it back for Percival. Inside the 10, Saints go here. And they are knocking firmly on the Catalans' door. Ball to Knowles, short pass to Lees. Lees for the line! Oh, he didn't get it down. What a tackle.
Yeah.
Try saver. Right on the line they go. Clark gets it away. They're going to stroll in. No! More desperate defence from Aspero Bichet. 2 try savers in 1 set. Now they're going with Clark. That gets it away. It's not done with yet. They'll move it across to Knowles. Knowles flicks it back to Walmsley. Walmsley's in. Catalans were holding on and holding on. But Walmsley smashes down the front door. And Saints lead by 10.
It's a blistering start. And it's Alex Walmsley, the 35-year-old, grabs his second try in 2025. But some desperate defence. You have to feel for Aspero Bichet. Putting his body underneath, not 1 but 2 desperate try-saving attempts. But the Clark off-ball, and then Morgan Knowles, he's had a brilliant start to this game, Mark, mixing his play up, running the football, tipping it on. And it's his pass there. Aspero Bichet denying Lees. and then it was Clark on the next play. You can just see Clark gets an audacious offload away, Whitby onto Knowles. Knowles with a little cube flick pass. Again, he's ran the ball, he's passed it, he's even popping it out the backside. And Saints race to a 10-0 lead inside the opening 8 minutes.
And a kick to come. Walmsley it is who powers his way in. And Saints, who were held out not once but twice by Aspirabichet, find a way over the line. And Whitby, who's just nailed one from out wide, will look to add the extras here, make it a 12-point lead inside 9 minutes. And Whitby slots the goal. Perfect start for Paul Wellens. And a super start from Saints.
Yeah, 12-0. And again, I mentioned that the first try will dampen the nerves. Well, the second one will certainly get them excited. The big Alex Walmsley, his first try on home soil since round 1 last season.
Well, that's to get back underway. Let's head down to pitchside then for the first time tonight. Say good evening to Jenna Brooks.
Yeah, good evening, Mark. Some interesting program notes tonight from the club chairman, the St Helens chairman, Eamon McManus. He said that he was sympathetic to the hurt and deep frustration which his fans, the club's fans, are currently experiencing. He says that the club are also experiencing the same thing. He says that tonight's an opportunity to start to string together some wins which will give them a positive back end to the season. He also mentioned Vegas. He said while the club may not have been selected for 2026, the door remains open for 2027 or 2028.
Cheers, Jenna. Well, an error from Saints. Simon will be less happy with that particular passage of play, and it gift wraps an opportunity for the Dragons. Can they hit back here? Theo Farge out the back here, trying to power their way over. Laguerre's going to be tackled just short of the line. Can the Dragons hit back on? The pass to Farge gets it away here. Partington, short pass. Never tackled. 5 out right in front of the post. Options left and right for Alrix da Costa, making his 150th appearance tonight. Keary, Aspirabichet tries to bump off one, but he's wrapped up. Couple of metres away. Saints big test defensively, but an incorrect play of the ball. And the Dragons start. Well, it goes from bad to worse.
Yeah, loose error there from the young fullback. He's just trying to play the ball too quick. You can see he doesn't regain his feet. A correct decision of an error and a chance gone begging off the back of Curtis Siriden's error mark. It was the first opportunity. They've had to wait 11 minutes for that. You always feel that if you come to this ground, you have to take your opportunities. Steve McNamara will be a little bit frustrated with that one.
Yeah, he will. The side were behind early on last week as well in that cup semi-final. Oh, and now they concede a penalty. We're looking at 65% possession.
Stay behind.
And 4 times as many metres made by Saints. This is an ominous start for the Red V and moral discipline.
Well, what you can't do, again, when you come to places like St Helens, is give the ball away, then back it up with penalties. Because you can see here, I think it's Matt Whitley who just crosses over into the Catalans half once more.
12-0 in 12 minutes. Could be getting worse as Saints again power forward with Lees. Clark finds Whitby. Whitby drops it back. Percival back for Saylor. And oh, the dummy run. It comes to Walmsley. He gets it away to Sirinen.
Yeah,
I think the referees pulled it back eventually. Well, that was on both sides.
Yeah, I think this time it was Alex Walmsley's tip onto Curtis Siriden was deemed forward. And the big front rower, if he has his time again, maybe should just do #1 job and carry it forward. Yeah, you can see forward pass there.
Relief for the Dragons. Alex Walmsley. Really try for him.
Let's get this first one right. Hands over Ulrich. Both hands over, please. Heading tight, lock in. Same with you, Jack.
Farge, the former Saint, will feed the scrum. The winner of this one would leap up to 4th overnight. Of course, Leeds play Hull tomorrow, which would see the winner of that one go back up into the top 4. But it's all about getting that 6th win of the season. 2 teams coming into it, both under pressure. Satire drags it forward. The Costa waits. Gets it away now. Here's Partington, finds Keary. Keary runs at Percival, who hits him hard and puts him to the ground. 40 out from the line. Here now is Farge, drops it back for Sartai again. He's tackled centre field. The Costa waits. Keary to the left. They're going to Keary now. He's going to send it high. They're going to try and put some pressure on Wellesby. Has a look, comes forward, ball batted back again, straight to a Saints player. Well, I think they would have been offside, wouldn't they? So they couldn't collect it, but they'll get the ball eventually, Saints. And again, it's another really scruffy end to the Dragons set.
Yeah, but just from a Catalan point of view, they perhaps would have wanted somebody to get on that ball. They let it run for an eternity, and in the end, Tristan Saylor's able to race away 15 metres to drop on it.
Good carry from Saints. Up to the 40-metre line. Lomax finds Wellesby, gets it to Walmsley. Tries to bend the line up towards halfway. Saints going to that right-hand side again. Wellesby, good pass, finds Percival. They're backing off, flick pass to... was that touch? I think it was touched by a Dragon's hand, and it might just have saved another try.
What do you want, mate?
Mark Percival's been
Play the ball.
decent form, hasn't he? What's been a bit of a scratchy opening to the season for Saints, and that little flick pass there, you can just see Nick Kotrick just gets a vital touch on this, because if not, he backs Saylor from there.
He's actually done well, Kotrick, because he just slipped, didn't he, right at the vital. Mind you, if he stands on his feet, he could well go the other way. So fine margins.
Discipline, boys. Hold us, mate.
The Saints are going to get another crack at the Dragons line here. There is Kotrick, one of the new signings. 149 NRL appearances for him.
It's a handful. Tackle buster.
Well, now to Knowles, finds Lomax, short pass, Sirenen through the middle, needs support, it's not there. He was waiting an eternity for an offload there. Set restart as well. It's all going wrong for the Dragons here. Walmsley tries to barrel his way through. He stopped 5 out. Here come the Saints again. The Dragons are on the ropes. Saints going to hit them with some heavy punches here. Knowles to Lomax to Wellesby. Wellesby with a step. Good sliding defence from the Dragons. But there's still more to come here. Lomax, centre field, back to Walmsley. Doesn't need a second invitation to carry strongly. Right in front of the post now. Options for Clark. Going short to Sirenen on the charge. He's dropped it. Knocked back, picked up by Aspero-Biche, and credit the Dragons, they stood firm.
Yeah, this time it's Curtis Sirenen.
He's done it again, Aspero-Biche.
I mean,
he's done it
You've got to
again.
stand up and have balance and control. It's your responsibility to stand up and have balance and control.
Performances this season.
Mate, he's got to stand up and have balance and control.
He's just made another mistake, but this one could be crucial, Mark. 12 metres out from his own end, and it's the same. He's trying to play the ball. He's not regaining his feet.
Play the ball here, incorrect.
And it is an incorrect play of the ball. And relieved Sirenen, no doubt about it.
Well, they get another crack. 2 errors from the young man. See, McNamara looks on. There's no doubt he's a talent, but he's got to cut simple errors like that out of his game. And this one could be costly. Now there are another 6 points going the way of the Saints. Clark finds Whitby. Miss out pass finds Percival. Little kick step. Inside the 10, he's wrapped up far side of the ground. But Saints in the sun looking for some more points here. Ball now loops its way in field. Knowles collects it. Gets it back to Walmsley. Walmsley again. Forward inside the 10. Dragons are busted here. If they come left, that's where they're going now. Ball out the back. Here is Wellesby, skips out of 1. Can he get to the line? No, he can't. Looked for a second as though he was going over. But the Dragons here are wobbling. Here's Whitby, big dummy. Still gets room, kicks in behind. There's only one Dragon there. He's dropped it. Collects it the second time. Wow. If this was a boxing match, the referee would be asking the Dragons to start throwing some punches. They're ducking and diving, and somehow they're still standing.
Well, they're hanging in, Mark. And I don't think everybody was on the same page, that right edge. And they get a little bit of fortune there as Kotrick can't take it in. They'll get 6 more. The Dragons are hanging on here. They really are. A pleasing part of it for Steve McNamara. He's really saying Helens should be up by a few more now. They're showing enough in terms of turning up, but they're asking too much.
What's this taking out of the Dragons' tank?
Oh, 100%.
They have gone short this time. Well, there's a player taken off the ball there, surely. Well, it didn't matter anyway, because Saints come up with the ball. Well, don't forget, the Dragons played last week. Saints had the week off. Is that freshness going to pay here? Ball up the middle from Saints. There's no doubt they want to add to those early tries for Whitby and Walmsley. Here's Walmsley again. He goes forward. Clark looks, goes left, finds Lomax, finds tip pass, but it wasn't taken in. Cross couldn't handle it. He beats the floor in frustration on his home debut. And the Dragons do survive.
Well, that's a huge win for the Dragons, make no mistake about it. Dion Cross there, the baton ball from Welsby. Cross wants to do the same to set Murphy away. The skill gets tested and the possession gets handed back to the Dragons.
Paul Wellens looks on. Been a tough time for the man who played almost 500 times for St Helens. But he's been under the pump as a coach. Start of a big week. Women's Super League kicks off tomorrow. Wigan, they take on the champions York Valkyrie. 5 o'clock tomorrow, Sky Sports Action. That's followed by Wigan against Lee. Bumper crowd expected. You can see it on Sky Sports Action. Leeds also take on Hull tomorrow night, 7:55. Saturday, it's the Cowboys against the Seagulls, 8:30, followed by the Sharks against the Storm. That should be a cracker. Also on Sky Sports Action. And Hulkinson Rovers going to Wembley in a few weeks. They take on Huddersfield Giants, 5:25. And on Sunday, Wakefield take on Warrington, 2:55 on Sky Sports Plus. That's followed by Castleford against Salford at 5:25. The bench available on Monday, skysports.com/podcast. On Wednesdays, it's The Verdict, 3:30 with Jenna and John on Sky Sports News. All that to come, a bumper weekend and a busy start to round 11 as the Dragons work their way up towards halfway. Now they're going for the kick downfield. Murphy waits, will collect it on the full. He'll bring it back up to the 20, and he's tackled on the 30-metre line, and Saints get it back again.
Well, the Dragons need a period of squeaky clean defence, as the possession is still in 66% in favour of Saints, and they need to get the side back into this arm wrestle.
Here's Saylor looking for work. Wrapped up and short of the halfway line. Here's now Clark, gets it away. Delaney into the action. It's his first carry over the halfway line. Saints looking to get back down the other end. Whitby's going to kick over the top. Aspero Bichet will collect it. Turns around. There's a wall of white shirts in front of him. Whatever he does here, Guillermo, play it properly, please. That'll be Steve McNamara's thoughts. And this time he does just that. And the Dragons get the chance to work their way out. But Saints are enjoying this defending down that end of the field.
Yeah, they always do. These are difficult carries. Kotrick just gets over the 20-metre line in 3 plays gone. Desiree.
He's been at Castleford, hasn't he, on loan? Now he's back with the Dragons and back in the 17. Ball works its way to Farge. He's going for the 40-20. Has he got the juice on the kick? Well, he has, but Welsby's there to greet it, and he'll pick it up just inside the 20. Farge is after him, and Farge will make the tackle. That's not a bad outcome, that, for the Dragons.
No, certainly not. They've been under the cosh for the opening 20 minutes. There's enough there on that chase. It's just what's the next 3 or 4 like, and that's loose again, Mark. It's only a little detail, but Lewis Murphy should be getting put to ground. A quick one. Clark jumps another 10 metres. And that's where they're losing this at the moment.
Well, they've gone 20 metres in 2 tackles, having been penned on their own 20. Here now is Knowles, finds Delaney. Route 1 from him, runs straight at Keary, who bounced off him. Clark to Knowles, Knowles to Lomax, finds Welsby. Here's Dion Cross. Cross heading towards the sideline. They're going to drag him down 5 metres in from touch. Last one, Murphy will play it. Whitby, the target, has had to reach through and then puts it down. And that's the danger, Carl, when you get tackled on the sideline on the 5th tackle.
Well, yeah, but it's also a horrible pass from Murphy. Just look at this. Now, Whitby, he just has a little look, seeing the kick pressure there coming from Partington, but the pass needs to be better.
Murphy, a former Wakefield man, down had a spell in Australia, but back in the Super League. And oh, there's Matt Whitley. Looks like he's going for a head injury assessment. Need a new shirt as well if he comes back on. Hopefully he's okay. The former Dragon, 5 years in the south of France for Matt Whitley. And plenty of blood there, so hopefully, fingers crossed, he's okay. Jake Wingfield into the action. He's missed the last 4 Wingfield, so he'll be glad to get back out there on the grass.
He only played a minute in his last game in that quarter-final of the Challenge Cup over at Warrington. Yet to play since.
There's Desiree. I wonder how much he'll have benefited from some game time at Castleford. Another good strong carry for him. Here now goes Partington into the line, finds Farge, gets it away. Nice little bit of footwork over on the far side there from Remus Smith. Here now is Kotrick. He'll drag it forward as well. Well, they're inside the 20 and a set restart. So a win there for the Dragons. Now, can they turn this little bit of pressure into points? Not been down this end too many times, and when they have been, they haven't come up with anything. Here now is Desiree inside the 10. Saints turn to defend their own line. Norwich DaCosta waits at dummy half. Gets it away now to Partington. Short pass. Good first up contact from Saints. And they swarm in and complete the tackle. DaCosta pops it up now. Partington finds Farge. Ball over the top here, looking to get it away on this near side. It's carried forward with strength by Yaha, but he's lost it. It's another error. And this is now starting to hurt the Dragons. Too many errors in possession.
Well, it's been affecting them all season, Mark. They've made more errors than any other side in the competition. And there was one over on the left side in a similar position, close to the line. It was a Spiro B-shape. And this time, it's forward Yaha. And they're just not really giving themselves any opportunity in this game.
Steve McNamara will not be pleased. 200 wins as a coach for him. Doesn't look like he's going to make it 201 tonight, based on what we've seen in the opening 25 minutes. Well, he's hurting them, isn't it?
Yeah, we saw that stat, didn't we, at the start of St Helens scoring tries inside the opening 15 minutes. They seem to have almost kind of fizzled out now, and if Catalan can get hold of this game and get more opportunities down there, but they must complete, it's as simple as that.
You've got to make the most of your opportunities if you're a Dragon. We saw a Spiro Bichet not play the ball correctly inside the 10. We've seen Yaha not play the ball correctly.
They're just loose errors though, aren't they, Mark?
Yeah, poor errors. You don't mind it so much someone puts a big shot and the ball comes out. That's fair enough, that's part of the game, but playing the ball correctly is a bit of a routine effort.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is Delaney. Here is Whitby kicking downfield. A Spiro Bichet well positioned, collects on the full, brings it up to the 40, looking for a bit of light in that St Helens defence, but there's none there. But advantage to Dragons, they start 10 shy of the halfway line.
A decent set defensively there. Whitby decided to kick on the 4th. Let's see what the Dragons have got here in that middle part of the field.
We saw Saints when they met in the south of France raced into a 12-0 lead, didn't they, early on? Tristan Saylor got a couple of tries and the Dragons levelled it up, but were ultimately undone at the end by Johnny Lomax's brilliance. But here's Kiri, who couldn't get the pass away. It was on as well, wasn't it, for Bailey Sirinen, the younger brother of Curtis. And again, it's another error.
Mate. You're just going forward. You've got to stand up and have balance and control. Mate, if you play the ball on the mark, you've no issue, have you?
He hasn't regained his feet. I'm more just explaining that to him.
Well, that's at least 4 errors they've made playing the ball. Spiro Bichet's made 2, Yaha's made 1, and now Kiri's made 1.
You made a point about if you're running a hard line and it's a difficult catch under pressure, then you get it. You know, you accept that. What you can't accept is playing the ball properly. That's 4 times. And we've had a youngster doing it, the most experienced player out there doing it.
Heads in tight, please.
It's hurting the Dragons at the moment. Simple, basic mistakes.
Yeah.
Shot clock off.
Saints, a blistering start for Whitby and Walmsley, but despite pressure after that, they've been held out. Now Percival is pushed back. Now the ball's come out and the referee
Well,
said that's a knock on. Well, that was good aggressive defence.
And that's what you want to see, Mark. If you're a coach, you want to see your team react in a positive manner. And Percival being ushered to the sideline. Can't decide whether he throws that ball out or just the sheer weight and pressure.
We're doing it, boys.
Just means it spills out. It's an error.
Middle.
It is.
And
Look at
now
the reaction.
Yeah. Now Catalan,
Shot clock on.
he must come up with something here.
Even if it's a repeat set,
Yeah.
just something down that end.
Yeah, show something in this contest, because
Let's get in, boys.
when they've had this ball in these opportunities, the players must have came away deflated because they've just came up with a mistake. But let's see what they've got.
Somebody here.
No doubt they're both missing some key players.
Out.
As Da Costa didn't realise the ball had come out of the scrum there. He got a bit fortunate.
Surrender.
And they start 30
Hold
away.
now. Hold. Go on.
Here now goes Seguier.
2. Move, Morgan, find me. Hold.
A try for the Dragons completely changes the feel, not only the scoreline, but in this stadium. And now here's a potential half break. Good tackle, Clark. Another scruffy play of the ball. Here goes Desiree. Big collision. He's barging his way forward. He looks hungry tonight for the meters. Da Costa waits. They'll play it now. They fire it back to Theo Farge. He gets it away to Kiri. Short pass, Laguerre. Brilliant tackle. Really good tackle there from Saints. And this is the last one. The Dragons looking for points, looking for a repeat set. It's not the greatest. The kick through collected by Wellesby. Well, he made that look easy, but that was a really poor last play from the Dragons.
Yeah, it was a scruffy pass there that Farge had to collect. And then his kick wasn't what it needed to be. Again, it's just loose. You can't build any pressure whatsoever with that. This Saints team, let me tell you, Mark, they'll definitely give you opportunities to score points against them. But you've got to be better than that.
Well, he got 12 points last week. So the possession is starting to level up now. The completion rate, nothing to shout about for either team. But look at the meters, double for St Helens. And that really is the damning statistic.
I think most of that had probably been inside the first 20 minutes, Mark. Morgan Knowles now with a kick out 9.
Collected by Aspiro Bichet. He will bring it back forward. And he's tackled on his own 20. Well, we talked about the discrepancy in meters. Look at that. The top 5 meter makers are all in the red V, but they've given away a penalty now. And that'll help the Dragons. Just feel here, Kyle, this is starting to turn a little bit now.
Yeah, the Dragons are clawing their way back into this contest. But they haven't yet to register a point, and that's ultimately the crucial stat, if you like. Penalty given away here. Kiri just punched that ball just down to the 40-meter end. Laguerre.
Well, the Saints were superb. 2 tries in the opening 8 minutes. They were on fire, but then the Dragons held out, and you can just feel a little bit of a sense of apprehension just building around this stadium.
You know, there was some desperate defence, and that has been the positive, really, for the Dragons. If they can just neaten up with ball in hand, they can bring this game back into an even contest.
And here they do now. Spiro Bichet, good read from Percival. Well, now works its way back in field. Not the best pass, but they'll move it along here now. Seguier fancies a run, gets it to Laguerre. He had Yahar outside him, but opted not to pass it. And the tackle is made. And they've got a couple left in the set here. Farge loops the pass away here now over the far side. It's taken in by Sirenen. He's wrapped up. Last one. Can they get any kind of pressure on Wellesby here? They're going to go down the short side. They're going to put the kick across the field. It's collected. In the end, there's that Delaney who comes up with it. Great bit of hands from the front row forward.
Right place, right time, just to defuse that kick. But look, it's not a bad place to turn the ball over, 5 metres away from Saints' end. But so often we've seen looseness in and around the ruck, and there's Murphy now with 12 more metres gained.
Just a little bit too easy, isn't it, at the moment for Saints to clear their own end. Here goes Dion Cross. Hit hard by Fouad Yahar. 12-0 at the moment. Here the ball now works its way along to Parsi. He carries forward. Last one for Saints. Here now is Wellesby, gets the kick away. Should be collected on the full. Aspiro Bichet, he will stop, gets it away to Kotrick, who fancies a run. And he gets it just short of the 40-metre line. And the Dragons once again starting with an advantage. Here goes Yaha now, throws himself into the contact. Costa waits at dummy half. Can the Dragons put on some points before half-time? They'll certainly be hoping so. Here now is Keary, gets it away. There is Sims off the bench.
In the line, boys, back with me.
The veteran. All now through the hands. Here now goes Keary. Pass out the back, Laguerre. Yaha kicks, a little bit of a rush kick. Juggled by Wellesby, who's going to be dragged in goal, and he's tackled behind his own line. Good work in the end. It was off the cuff from Yaha, but he got to Wellesby, and it's a goal line
challenge
dropper.
the decision of a
I didn't think this kick was going to come up trumps, but it's Matty Laguerre's
Time off.
chase.
Jack,
He's able to pull and
we have a
drag
captain's
Wellesby
challenge.
over the try line.
St Helens are
Well, they're
challenging the
challenging
on-field
this.
decision of a goal line dropout. Claiming Jack as a chaser offside.
Tackle one, Saints are challenging the ruling of a goal line dropout. Comes from a kick, please. Right, so Matthew Laguerre is offside as this ball is paused on the foot. Pause it on the foot. Matthew Laguerre does not have both feet behind the ball. Let's run this through to see his involvement. He is then within close proximity of Jack Wellesby, who cannot collect the ball cleanly because of his presence. The challenge will be successful. It will be a penalty to St Helens, 11 metres out from the goal line.
Good work that from St Helens, quickly weighing up the situation. And it will be a successful captain's challenge. So instead of a goal line dropout, it's a penalty for Jack Wellesby and St Helens.
Yeah, it's another poor end to the set as well. I mean, the kick goes in there, and I don't actually think that the presence means Wellesby can't collect that ball, but the ruling is there. And the penalty is given away.
It is. A kick for touch will take them up to the 40-metre line. 6 to go to the break. 2 successful, 5 unsuccessful for St Helens. And they keep their challenge on the back of that successful challenge. They may well need it later in the game. Here now goes. He gets it away. All on the halfway line.
Goal two. Got to be quicker, Ulrichs. Come on.
Oh, big shot there on Whitby. Desiree didn't need a second invite there, did he? Good shot goes in. Here's Delaney. Over halfway for Saints.
6 to go. That's too many slow ones.
So restart for Saints. Ball back to Percival. More ill discipline from the Dragons, who are harming themselves repeatedly here. Clark just had to wait for the ruck to clear. He'll just take one himself. 25 out now. We mentioned if the Dragons score, this game takes on a different complexion. Well, if Saints score again... Oh, big see you later from Ignatius Pazzi. He dunks Da Costa right on the seat of his pants there. And now Saints coming forward with Whitby. Finds Wellesby out to Saylor. He's not got the size from there, but he gets an offload. It's a good one as well. Great offload. Here goes Wellesby. Short to Knowles. Has a juggle with it. Just held onto it in his midriff. Here you go. See you later, Da Costa. Saints lining up here now with Lomax. Gets it away. Here's Cross. Cross going for it. He's going to score on his own debut. Dale Cross, the local boy, scores on his first appearance here as a Saint. And it's 16 points to nil. More ill-discipline from the Dragons. It's punished by the Saints.
Yeah, they're just doing too much defending, Mark, at the moment. And Dion Cross, of course, brought over from Salford. His last game for Salford was against Catalans in Perpignan. But he's here, the former Dragon, now wearing the red V, local boy. And he'll be absolutely delighted with that. His first try for St Helens. Dion Cross, 16-0.
They enjoyed that. Dion Cross slices through. There was a lot of talk about recruitment at the start of the programme. I don't think there'll be any problems with Dion Cross as a St Helens player.
No, solid player. He just gets on the outside of Laguerre, burns him for pace. And just showing the ball there to Murphy. Just keeps Yaha off. He's able to slide over. A neat pick-up mid-season.
Look, a pretty bedraggled bunch, don't they, the Dragons?
He brought it on themselves. We have to, you know, you have to say.
There were 2 penalties in the build-up to that. The first on Wellesby for offside at the kick, and then the set restart. Whitby then looking to add the extras, 77%. There you go, the kick is good. 18 points to 0. Whitby on target, Saints on target. And Cross with his first try for the Red Bee.
They're playing with energy down this end of the field, Mark. Johnny Lomax with a wonderful cutout ball there, misses Wellesby. McGear's thinking that Wellesby's got that, he's a little bit tight. Cross gets on the outside of him. And they've enjoyed that one.
Well, not all good news for St Helens. Matt Whitley we saw go off earlier on as a great catch from Lomax on the restart, but Matt Whitley we saw go off with plenty of blood about his face. He's failed his head injury assessment. So fingers crossed he's okay, but he has failed that initial assessment. He will not be back tonight. Here's Parsi again. Desiree and DaCosta wrap him up. 2 minutes to go to the break. Clark's off out of dummy half. Clark taking easy meters. Up to the 40 and a quick play of the ball. Saints looking to strike while the iron is hot here. Up and over the 40, last one. The Dragons have just got to hang on here. Whitby's going to run it. Here's Wellesby. There's trouble brewing here. Wellesby going down the short side, dumps it back inside, and the Dragons relieved to pick up the loose ball.
Yeah, some neat work there from Wellesby. Ball is a blind one back on the inside. And Catalans dive on it through Sirinen. But they need half-time here.
They need half-time, and they need to cut out the errors, both in possession, playing the ball, and discipline-wise without it.
Yeah, there's been a number of 6 agains in there as well. Just a little bit loose tonight of the Dragons.
Well, fired into the midriff there, and an offload, but luckily for Catalans they can't get away. Saints smother it in defence. Couple more tackles left. As Farge will try and nail it. It's kicked, it's bounced off a Saints player. It's hacked forward here, but too much on it, and Murphy will gratefully pick it up. He'll get it away to Wellesby. Wellesby 30 out from his own line will just take the tackle, and they'll get one more opportunity, St Helens here. Really the damage done in the opening 10 minutes with 2 tries in super quick time. Another set restart for Saints. Time against them here. What can they produce? Cross goes route 1. Is there a bit of magic left in the Saints in this first half that really could put this game away? Couple of tackles potentially left time-wise. Ball works its way to Whitby, finds Wellesby. Wellesby ball back on the angle, great pass! Percival through! Whitby! He's in again! He started the scoring, and he will end it! Big smile on the teenager's face! What a pass on from Wellesby! Percival like a cannon through the line, and Saints are running riot. They lead by 22 points to 0.
We said pre-game, Jack Wellesby one to watch. He just sits at the top of the metrics for St Helens. Most runs, most meters, tackle bust, offloads. He is a star, make no mistake about it. But what about this for a ball? Oh, goodness me. Percival has got a number of players to pick from. And George Whitby will be delighted to double his try-score and tally this season. The angle from Percival and the push and support play from St Helens will really please Paul Wellens. The Catalan, Mark, they're in a hole.
They're in a big hole. And it's a hole you can't argue that Steve McNamara's side have partially dug for themselves. As good as St Helens have been, they've been given a helping hand from Steve McNamara's side. Might be a few words exchanged in that away dressing room here tonight.
I'll be furious. You know, you spoke to him before in the interviews during the game, in the build-up to the game, and he was saying about how excited he was that there's a game here on offer tonight. 22-0, could be 24 and should be 24 with Whitby the way he's kicking. He's got an almighty talk ahead of him.
Well, he's got 3 from 3. He's got a couple of tries. This for a near perfect half for Whitby and St Helens. Strikes it and it goes through the middle. Well, they got off to their trademark fast start, and Paul Wellens will be a happy man at half-time as he makes his way down to the changing rooms. He needed a big performance, and the Saints fans are happy at the break. St Helens lead the Catalan Dragons by 24 points to 0.
Mark Kyle, thank you very much. After weeks of doom and gloom, are the clouds parting over St Helens? We have had a glimpse of the future in the last few weeks. George Whitby has been absolutely sensational. He has played his part in skewering the Catalan Dragons in the first 40 minutes of the opening game of round 11 of the Betfred Super League. He's back to brace here at the home of the Saints. We'll discuss what we've just seen in the company of Paul Sculthorpe and John Wilkin after this. We, of course, continue our coverage of the NRL here on Sky Sports. 3 live games for you coming up on the weekend. The North Queensland Cowboys taking on the Sea Eagles, 8:30 a.m. on Sky Sports Action. Same channel, 10:30. Same day for Sharks against the Storm. And Sunday's offering is a 9:15 clash between the West Tigers and the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Well, we're at the halfway point in the opening game of round 11 of the Betfred Super League, and under pressure St Helens have a healthy 24-0 lead over the Catalan Dragons, themselves a side who came into this one under enormous pressure to get a result. John Wilkin and Paul Sculthorpe joining me here pitchside at a somewhat relieved Totally Wicked Stadium at half-time.
Definitely is, and you know, we called it before the game, didn't we? We said Saints need to come out the blocks and start quick, and they did that. You know, it was 12-0. It could have easily been 13-0 after 20 minutes.
Yeah, big question was 12 going to be enough? Let's see how they got the 12 within the opening 10 minutes. George Whitby adding to his growing reputation.
Yeah, Paul nailed it. It was a scintillating start from St Helens. I thought they were clinical, their execution was great, and all of that was shown in the first try. Well, I just want to slow this down. The combination between Whitby and Wellesby is exceptional. There's a distinct lack of pressure from Catalan from the inside of the line. Allows Whitby to just dig in. Great line from Matt Whitley. And then we run it on from here. It's great pace from Tristan Saylor, great footwork, and fantastic support from Whitby, who set it up with his squareness and his execution. It was clinical from Saints.
Yeah, outstanding play from George Whitby there. As you say, he just holds that defender. You know, we've been crying out for a 7 that will take it to the line.
Yeah, this is the second try. It was desperate defence from Catalan, and this was Saints just in the ascendancy, on the front foot. Aspiro Biche with 2 big tackles, but ultimately, again, we spoke about lack of pressure from the middles. There's a mismatch in effort. Navarrete comes out the line. Satai doesn't just have a playoff. He might as well be sat on an EasyJet flight back to Perpignan.
I love the intensity there from Alex Walmsley. I thought he was outstanding in that first half. And, you know, for the 25 minutes that he was on the field, it looked like a senior player who was taking responsibility for lack of performances.
But, there's a big but. The St Helens legend, of course, you're so inextricably linked with the club here. You were uncomfortable with just a 12-0 lead as the Catalan Dragons dragged themselves back, certainly in terms of territory, into the game.
Yeah, they did. They dragged themselves back in by Saints' errors again. It was just lapses in concentration. I think that kept Catalan in the game at some point. Catalan didn't do anything exceptional. You know, when they found themselves in field position, unfortunately, it was errors, and it was obviously their lack of intensity on defence.
And they only made 4 errors in the half, did Catalan. I think the excruciating thing for Steve McNamara is where they came, playing the ball really simple. You know, and this must have been unwatchable and horrendous for Steve McNamara, for his players to make so many errors in the ruck. He'll be frustrated because 2 things. One is the errors didn't give his side a chance. But if you're going to make errors, you must defend. And if we have a look at those stats, Brian, you know, there was so many missed tackles from the Catalan Dragons.
Well, absolutely. But the clock was ticking on the half, and indeed you felt that the Catalan Dragons could limp into the changing rooms at half-time. Just 12-0 down. Steve McNamara would be able to give them a speech which suggests they have a chance in the game. Then came a Catalan Dragons error, ill-discipline, and Dion Cross's try.
Yeah, as you say, they were the biggest, their own worst enemy in that first half. You know, Saints kept on that pressure, and you look at Catalan, they had no field position within that game due to their own mistakes.
Yeah, it's execution though. Again, Johnny Lomax, what a ball that is, showing his pedigree, his class, his patience, and it's real great strength there off the back of that from Dion Cross. He's been brought in to finish things like that. He certainly did that. Now, I want to draw your attention again to Whitby on the ball now. Wellesby out the back. Whitby's squareness. Wellesby, wow. Such a great ball. What a line from Percival.
Silky, that.
It's just silky, and I've loved Whitby. Great footwork from Whitby at the end, but Whitby and Wellesby's combination, the movement, the squareness of Whitby, the dynamic nature of Wellesby off the back of it, that's exciting.
You mentioned there about the squareness of Whitby. He gives Jack Wellesby room to play. You know, with Whitby holding defenders, a player like Jack with his running game is going to cause major problems, and he's doing that. And I think Jack, like Walmsley, has took the game by the scruff of the neck.
Big half-time team talk for Steve McNamara and the Catalan Dragons, as suggested by Kyle towards the end of that half in commentary. I wonder what Paul Wellens will demand from his side. They have a 24-0 lead over the Catalan Dragons and a chance to further extend the gap between these two sides on the Betfred Super League table. Are the Saints back? The second half may tell us plenty. It's on the way here on Sky Sports after this.
Tackles left here for New South Wales. Building again as Kerner goes to Southwell. Southwell to Gallagher. Lovely hand. Chapman is away. There goes David Chapman. Just right over and score another. Wonderful origin try.
The rain fell and the points were piled on by New South Wales as they clinch the title. Game 3 is on Thursday, May 29, 10:30 a.m. on Sky Sports Action and Main Event. That's the Women's Origin. That comes the day after the Men's Origin kicks off, 10 a.m. on Sky Sports Action and Main Event for Game 1. We will continue our coverage of Super League, of course, over the weekend, but we've got a very special doubleheader tomorrow at the Brick Community Stadium as the Betfred Women's Super League gets underway for season 2025. Wigan taking on the champions York Valkyrie, 5 p.m. on Sky Sports Action. As I said, it's part of a special doubleheader, and that will come before Wigan and Lee meet in the Betfred Super League at 7:30 p.m. You've got a choice. That game or Leeds against Hull FC, 5-8 on Sky Sports Plus. That gets underway. Saturday sees Hull KR in action against Huddersfield. The league leaders will hope to pile more pressure on the Giants. Sunday, Wakefield Warrington or Castleford Salford, 2:55 p.m. 5:25 p.m. starts for those, both on Sky Sports Plus. Well, we're at the halfway point here at the Totally Wicked Stadium. A healthy half-time lead for St. Helens, 24-0 against the Catalan Dragons. Difficult half-time team talk for Steve McNamara, Paul Sculthorpe. What will Paul Wellens demand in the second 40?
I think being clinical. Be clinical with the ball, keep the pressure on Catalan, win field position and be aggressive on defence.
OK, let's get the half-time team news from Jenna Brooks. Tunnel side, Jenna.
Yeah, Paul Wellens said it was great to see his players apply themselves the way that they did in that first 40 minutes. He's asked for the same again in the second 40 as far as Steve McNamara goes. He says it was a horrible opening period of that first half. It was a horrible closing period of that first half, and a big second half coming up for you. So let's get back to your commentators. Mark Wilson, Carl Amor.
Cheers, Jenna. Well, Steve McNamara will have plenty of food for thought. His side staring down a third successive loss in all competitions. And not a great deal of positives to take out of that opening 40 minutes. I guess the main one, Carl Amor, it can't be much worse for the Dragons.
No, it certainly can't. I just think defensively, you know, they were falling off tackles. There was 29 missed tackles in that first 40. They have to be prepared to do the tough things right. And when I say tough things, yes, I mean up front in contact, but I also mean tough mentally and discipline with and without the ball. You've got to find a way back into this game, and very quickly as well.
Well, we're back underway, round 11. Second half here at the Totally Wicked Stadium. The Saints hoping to leapfrog into the top 4 momentarily with a win here tonight. They started and ended that first half in fine style. Can they get more points at the start of the second and really put the Dragons under the pump here?
3. Move, Luke! Hold.
Errol Clark had a fine first 40 minutes. Gets the ball away. Partington with the tackle.
Move, Jordan, don't go back! Go 4.
Ball now works its way to Knowles. Gets it away to Ignatius Parsi again. The big man on a rumble. Had support but couldn't find Lomax. He'll play it on the 5th. They get it away, and here's Wellesby who sends it end over end downfield. And a horrible bounce for a Spiro Bichet, but the second one was kind. That could have gone anywhere. And in the end, the young fullback as well gets it up to the 40.
Hold again. Hold. Go 1.
Here's Kotrick. Any real running opportunities so far tonight? Nobody on the Dragons side has. Here's Remus Smith.
3. Move, George! Hold. Go 3. That's fine.
Here now is Partington. Good carry up the middle. Finds an offload to Costa. Gets it away to Fage. He now moves it on here to Seguier. Better from the Dragons. Inside the 30 they go. Couple of tackles left. What can they produce here? Fage gets it away. Partington now finds Kiri. Short pass to Sirinen. That's Bailey Sirinen. He's wrapped up on the 5th. Da Costa waits 20 away. It's been a half-decent set this for the Dragons. Kiri finds Fage. Floats the kick out wide. They're attacking Murphy, but he comes up with the ball. And he's tackled to off his own line. Good work from Lewis Murphy.
Some neat play there. Largely through Ollie Partington. Ball playing through the middle of the field. And the kick's a good one. You got them in that 10-by-10 square over in that far corner. A lot of halfbacks like to end the sets there and really put their opposition under pressure.
But this is where they've struggled, isn't it? To limit the meters. 2 carries and they've gone another 20 yards already.
Detailing and around the ruck is key. The Sailor explores. Gets a few more meters after contact there as well.
Hold me. Hold. Go 4.
Here is Curtis Sirinen. Drives it forward. Last one for Saints.
Go 5.
It'll be interesting how they attack this second half. They're going to run it here. Here's Ignatius Parsi. Gets it away. They're moving it through hands. Percival's kick downfield will bounce. Kotrick thinks about collecting it. Now he'll have to collect it on his own 10. It was off the cuff on the last, and Saints coming up trumps as they get the Dragons pen 12 off their own line.
Just moving the ball. The kick looks certain from Wellesby. They just ship it to that right edge before Percival puts boot to ball. And they're able now to get Wajaha. That's a decent carry from him.
Hold. Go 3.
It is. If the Dragons can get the next points, then who knows? Remember, it's St James's Park, 18 points behind with a few minutes left. You remember it well, Kyle.
I'd rather not.
40.
Ball downfield. Wellesby collects it on the full. And here he goes, Wellesby. Thought about the offload. He had it on as well to Murphy, but opted to hang on. And Saints start 40 off their own line. It will be interesting. Obviously, they scored 4 tries in that first half, Kyle. And this is an opportunity now, isn't it? If they score next, there's a real opportunity to grind the Dragons into the dirt tonight.
Yeah, and I think that's what the home fans would want to see. We've got 3 fixtures on the road after this one. And we're not back here until June the 20th when they play Leeds, so perhaps a night to send all the fans home with a big positive on the face. Wingfield now, he's got a chance here.
Gets into Sailor. Sailor's quick. Got support inside. Oh, it's a kick. Looking for Clark. Ball bounces away. Partington collects it. Partington offloads it. Aspero Bichet almost away. He's 15 off his own line. The game opening up here.
And a nice little ball there from Wingfield to set Sailor away. Ollie Partington just ushers Darrell Clark off the ball, transitioning defence into attack. You just see here, just knocks him off there, does enough. There's a presence of mind to give that to Aspiro Bichet. It's the Dragons coming away from their own end again.
Here is Partington, gets it away, finds Farge. Here's Keary, little flick pass. Ball, beautiful hands, and Yahar couldn't take it in.
There's a couple of parts to that. The flick from Keary. He just can't take it in. That was half a chance there. Laguerre with the neat catch and pass. We praised Percival's almost at the same part of the field in the first half. Food Yahar can't ice that opportunity. It spills over the sideline.
There's so much space outside as well, wasn't there? If he's a little bit wider, then that was a chance. Keary involved, his side under big pressure here. Steve McNamara under pressure as well. Hopes high, big recruitment from the Dragons, but up to press, it's not quite going to plan.
I've got a lot of their starting 1 to 13 out at the moment, but having said that, there's a couple missing in this Saints side as well. And we are really looking at the moment as what 2025 is served up. We are 2 mid-table teams as it stands.
Yeah, but both coaches will tell you it doesn't matter necessarily what it looks like now. We'll have a look at it September, October and see where we are then. Here goes Delaney. Round 11 and a 6th win of the season awaits Saints here. Ball back to Parsi again, causing problems again. Tackled, 15 away. Clark finds Whitby, big dummy. Desiree was all over it and wraps him up. 8 away from the line, but Saints looking for a 5th score here. Clark gets it away to Wellesby. Wellesby dribbles the kick in, caught just by Aspero Bichet.
Oh,
good hands.
He does well there. It comes off a Dragon's leg. He does ever so well to catch that ball. It's Sims off the foot.
But look at this, there's no easy out for the Dragons here. Saints are hunting. That's another incorrect play of the ball. What are they doing?
Goodness me.
In my opinion, you've got to balance and control. That's the ruling
this time.
In my opinion, he's got balance and control. Okay?
That's a 5th player to do that tonight.
Mate, it's his prerogative, he wants to challenge it.
They're not going to challenge it. Thoughts?
He's been consistent, hasn't he?
Well, is that one mistake too many? That is 5 now. Incorrect play of the balls.
Okay, George. Go.
Here comes Saints. Here comes Parsi. There's blood in the water. A Saints about to strike. Ball now works its way across the field. Here's Percival. Got Saylor with him. Good tackle needed to be as well. On this near side from Remus Smith. The Dragons need to come up with something special here defensively. Whitby swings it to Lomax. Lomax gets it out to Cross. He's wrapped up. 15 out.
Hold. Goal free.
Can Saints get the first point second half? They started so well at the start of the first half. 2 tries in the opening 8 minutes. They're going down the short side with Clark. Big dummy. Bounces off one. Last one. Lomax in at dummy half. Testing times for the Dragons. Crossfield kick comes in. Who's going to come up with it? Percival bats it back. It's play on. It's play on. And the ball. Oh, that's knocked on by Smith. He's knocked it on. He couldn't gather it in.
Ruling.
Off the cuff stuff here.
And knocked on by Remus on the floor. That's my decision.
Morgan Knowles tries to promote this ball. He knows that he's run out of land. He's falling to the ground. He wildly throws this out the back, and Smith just can't take it in. It's going to be another set here. And if you thought they were under pressure before, they certainly are now.
Well, this is building. Remus Smith. Certainly good with ball in hand when he's on the front foot, but he's been tested out here tonight defensively.
Don't go early. Luke, get tight here, please. Heads in, 10
That edge
seconds.
was exposed a couple of times by Whitby in the first half. What happens here? Wellesby swings across to the left. So does Saylor. They're loading up numbers left here. They come back to Saylor. Saylor now coming back. Referee, the Waterboy had to get out of the way there. Percival straightens up. He's having a dig at the line. He's 5 out from the line. Saints continue to ask questions. How long can the Dragons hold on? You get the feeling if they get broken here, they're in big trouble. Steve McNamara's side. Walmsley, he fancies another tilt at the try line. He's wrapped up. He'll play it now. Ball with Delaney, who bounces off the first defender. 2 left in the set. Darryl Clark looking. Comes back to Walmsley, looking for the double. Walmsley powers his way to the line, but there are enough grey and green shirts to keep him out. But there's that many around the ruck. There must be gaps out wide. They're going left to Lomax, finds Wellesby, dribbles the kick in. Aspiroviche, did he knock that on? I think he did.
He did, Mark. It's a difficult one for him. He has to be brave. Curtis Sirenen competing for this ball, and he loses it. It's another set.
The slip didn't help him. He was brave, he had to be, but
almost turns his head away from it as he's reaching out for the ball. He's come up with a few mistakes tonight.
Can the Dragons continue to hold on? How many tackles have they made on their own line here? Saints with a 3rd successive set. This time they go to Wellesby. Wellesby can't find a pass. Good tackling from Laguerre. Ball now works its way back to Clark. He gets it away to Knowles. Knowles, an ever-willing runner. He'll be a massive loss when he goes to the NRL next season.
Yeah.
Ball now finds its way to Whitby. Finds Wellesby. Short pass, Percival. Beautiful, beautiful pass from Percival. And Saylor is in. Mark Percival once again the provider. Saints pressure too much. The Dragons are crumbling. Saints 28, Dragons 0.
I mentioned Percival's form in recent weeks. He's just come up with a sublime piece of centre play there. The footwork and then the little flick to set Saylor over. Percival take a bow. But it all came through Aspiroviche's mistake, trying to clean up that kick there. And it was the 3rd set. And in the end, the pressure took its toll. Wellesby to Percival, stands up Smith, and that is just simply brilliant from Percival. He's one of the best centres in the game. And if you're watching at home as a young outside back, you'll not go too far wrong watching Percival.
Well, Tristan Saylor's played at full-back, half-back, and on the wing. Well, when you get in service like that, you're going to continue to score tries wherever you play. Magnificent from Mark Percival. 2 tries in the south of France and now 1 in the northwest of England against the Dragons, and it's smiles all round for Saints. The only question now for Paul Wellens is how many St Helens will win by. Whitby has been perfect with the boots. This is biggest test of the night. Strikes in. Well, he looks like Bubba wouldn't know in his mouth, but put the ball on the kicking tee. He's an assassin, and the chairman's happy. Why wouldn't he be? George Whitby, a superstar in the making for St Helens. 30 points to 0, and Saints full merit for that as well.
Yeah, but once again, fractions of a second, the transfer of weight. And a little pop-out ball for Saylor. Alex Walmsley. And a solid opening start. Him, Matty Lees, Morgan Knowles really set the platform for what we're witnessing here, 30-0. This could get, I dare I say, even more ugly, but you can imagine that St Helens will want to knock up a few more scores here.
I think you mentioned it. You're a Saints fan now. You want to see them put the foot down and really go through the Dragons here.
I think so. I think it's important that these fans get sent away with a little bit of promise after what has been, by their standards, a difficult watch sometimes. But you mentioned it, it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
A bit of a juggle from Aspiro Bichet, brings it forward up towards the 30, but he's quickly thrown back. Good job the referee called held there. He might have been in the stand, Aspiro Bichet.
Moses Mbaye in that neat first involvement from him.
This is a big 25 minutes for Steve McNamara, isn't it? Talked about coaches under pressure. Look, you can accept getting beaten, but 30 points to 0 with 25 left. This could be anything, and he will be worried inside about what is up in the next 25 minutes or so. Here's Pangai Jr., who's rampaging towards the sideline, finds Smith. Smith almost through the tackle. He's up to halfway. All played now to the Costa, finds Farge, just getting in each other's way, but they get it to Aspiro Bichet, gets it wide to Laguerre. Laguerre tries to duck underneath the challenge, last one. Need a good kick at the end of the set. They're going to send it high. They're going to try and put pressure on. Saylor coming to collect it. Ball on the ground. Who did it come off? Referee's got a decision to make, and he's saying the Dragons knocked it on.
You want to challenge?
He's asked them if they want to challenge it. They are going to challenge it.
Time off. Jack, we have a Catalans challenge. Catalans are challenging the on-field decision of a knock-on.
Tackle 5, Catalans are challenging the ruling of a knock-on. It comes from a kick. Oh, we'll pause it on the foot. Slow and on the foot. And all the kick chase have both feet behind. We can run this through now to the catch. Something close in on the catch, please. As to who this comes off. It's a fair challenge on that angle. Let's have a look what happens. We've got a different angle of it. This one might be our best. Yeah, go on this one. It's a fair challenge. Who does that ball come off? Can we go really slow, please, on it? Let's go off. Whose ball come off? Look whose hands it comes off. Right, that is touched by Tavita Pangai's left hand, then it goes into Tristan Saylor. The challenge by Catalan will be unsuccessful.
Well, when you looks out, you looks out. Big Tavita Pangai Jr. couldn't take it in. He got the first touch on it. And the Dragons' weight goes on for points here. He can't quite believe it, but I think there was just a fingertip, maybe a forearm on it.
Wow.
Play the ball, last tackle.
You can see that going either way, really, Mark.
But when the call on the field
I was just going
goes
to say,
that way,
yeah,
it's very difficult to overturn it, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Right, the Dragons have got Saints penned in. Can they keep them down that end of the field?
Hold.
3 out of 11 so far for the Dragons when it comes to captain's challenge.
2. Move. Oh no. Hold. Goal 2.
Saints looking to bring the ball forward.
3rd. Move. Up at square.
30 points to 0 they lead. Just over a quarter of the game remaining. Start of a busy week on Sky Sports when it comes to rugby league. Ball now works its way back.
5.
Last one for St Helens then. Just a try for Saylor in the second half. The Dragons yet to open their account here. Aspiro Bichet collects, he'll get it away. Here goes Fouad Yaha. Big week ahead, Women's Super League. First game of the Super League season tomorrow night. You'll see it live on Sky Sports. Wigan take on the champions York Valkyrie, 5 o'clock. Followed by Wigan Leeds. Bumper crowd expected at the Brick Community Stadium tomorrow. Leeds Hull is on Sky Sports Plus tomorrow night. Then on Saturday, Cowboys-Eagles, 8:30 Sky Sports action. That's followed out by the Sharks against the Storm at 10:35. And Hulkinson Rovers, league leaders, take on Huddersfield at 5:25 on Sky Sports Plus. And Sunday, got a doubleheader. Wakefield take on Warrington. And we've also got Castleford against Salford at 5:25. The Bench podcast available on Mondays. And the verdict, 3:30 on Sky Sports News every Wednesday with Jenna and John. All that to come. But it looks like it's going to be a winning start to the weekend for St Helens. Last one, they're going to run it here. Fage needs to find a pass. They do find a pass, but the pass finds a touchline. If the Dragons bus driver's ready outside, the boys are getting ready to get on the bus.
They certainly are. The loose ball finds the floor once more. Fage does well to beat Knowles. And Paul Seguier, pass needs to be of a higher quality.
Saints in cruise control here.
And I think that's the danger for them. I was here a few weeks ago when they raced away against Wakefield, and Wakefield finished the game strong. They scored 3 tries, Mark, in about the final 12 minutes. I wonder what lessons that the Saints side will have learned from that. We're in a similar position here, a commanding lead as we enter the final quarter. Sometimes you can be forgiving yourself as a player that the night's work is done.
Morgan Knowles has gone for a well-earned breather. Here comes Saints. Now it's their turn to misplace a pass. Oh, was that a knock-on from Saylor? I think it was, wasn't it? I think he just touched it into Raymond Smith there.
It's a knock-on by Tristan
right on cue, Mark. I just mentioned about maybe taking your foot off the gas, and to be fair to Saints tonight, they've been pretty decent with the ball. A little bit of miscommunication there, and this time it's Wellesby's pass that finds the floor. Saylor knocks on. Just see there, Percival's not too sure of it to drop underneath, and the ball finds neither here or there.
Error from Saylor. But can the Dragons score?
Let's get invoice, please.
They haven't looked like scoring so far.
No.
Shot clock off.
But if they get one, they may well feel they can get a couple of consolation scores. Can they get the first one? Here is Remus Smith, and a penalty for offside at the scrum.
Mark Percival.
You want it? Just wait for me, please. Your tap.
Here's Pangai Jr., king of the offloads, but he can't get an offload out of that tackle.
Release.
12 out from the line. Da Costa finds Kiri, short pass. Here into contact goes Romano. He's wrapped up just short of the try line. Jumping in is Smith, trying to barrel his way in. He's over. Whoa, tell you what, that was pretty close.
Short your line, mate. Short your line.
He's on the line there.
He's tackled short.
Tackled short is the call on the field. Here now the ball works its way to the right. Here's Fage. I'll tell you what, I want to see that again. I think Remus Smith might have got over the line there. Here the ball tackled 12 out. Here's Pangai Jr., the big man fancying a run, gets it away. Partington finds Kiri, gets it wide. Laguerre, good sliding challenge. Can they up their account here? 2 left. Ball now short. A good run around here now is Aspiro Bichet. Needs to find an offload. That's gone forward.
No, look, we were wax lyrical again about Aspiro Bichet. If I'm brutally honest, tonight probably to forget for him. He tries the big holding the ball in one hand and playing it over the top. I don't think that's what was needed there.
Quicker, Ulrich.
Here's Walmsley. Well, there's a challenge on the line. Did this get to the line?
No.
He put it down on his own hand.
No.
Wow, that was close.
Correct call, though.
Great call from Liam Moore. Maybe Smith should have scored, but he didn't. Kick downfield, should be gathered by Kotrick on the full. Now he's got a chance to run forward. Percival goes in on him. And they'll start on halfway. Just maybe signs here, Saints are just easing off as the finish line approaches.
St Helens staff, Paul Wellens, Breers, O'Carroll, they won't want that. Because in another game when it's close, they're going to need a full 80 minutes.
Still moving.
A run forward there from Tariq Sims.
Hold.
Can the Dragons get any kind of consolation points here? Short pass. Inside the 30 they go. To Costa Waits. Not the 150th career appearance he would have been thinking of when he got off the bus earlier on. Short pass, Pangai Jr. flicks it away. Whitby's picked him off. Whitby's giving him the shout there. He's old man him, the 18-year-old.
You're off, Junior.
And you felt that, you know, sometimes there's waves of momentum. And I just wonder whether that offload from Pangai Jr.
You step to the side and put the markers out. Go back, please.
They maybe had a chance of a possibility of just doing something. The offload from Pangai Jr. George Whitby first on the scene. And I think we'll see momentum change shortly.
Third. Move. Hands out now. Hold.
Well,
Hold.
I mean, a night to forget for the Dragons. It is going to be 3 on the spin for them in terms of defeats. And they have got a really tough run of games coming up.
4. Move, Tariq.
Saints on the 40. There you go, look at that. Wigan and Hull at home. They go to Hull Kingston Rovers, then Lee and Huddersfield at home. So 4 of the next 5 at home, but look at that. They play 4 of the top 5 in their next 4 matches. High kick. Yahad as well underneath it. Didn't panic. Catalan Dragons top try scorer. I just wonder where this Dragons team are mentally at the moment, Kyle. There's not a lot coming back, is there, just right now?
No, certainly not. You know, that they came into this game with hope and expectation.
So
but they hurt themselves, didn't they? The opening 20 minutes was really difficult for them.
It was. Here now, the ball turned back. Here goes Seguier. He's wrapped up over on the far side. Last one for the Dragons. Too many errors at the play of the ball. Too many penalties conceded. Here on the last, they're running it. They need to find an offload. They do find an offload. Fars needs to keep it alive. He'll duck out of one. He's still going. He gives it to Pangai Jr. He's got the ball in one hand. He could make things happen. He runs over towards the sideline, finds Kotrick. Kotrick puts the kick in. They're all offside. Saylor catches it, and he goes off. And
jeez,
well, I'm not quite sure what we're watching here from the Dragons. This has been a night to forget for them. Oh, they might have come up with a ball, but it's a steal.
Stole the ball.
It just goes from bad to worse.
2 in, stole the ball.
I can understand trying to roll the dice and perhaps overplay.
Stay behind, please.
The end to the set was horrible, and then they back it up with a penalty. I mentioned Pangai Jr.'s offload there, perhaps changing momentum. Well, now we're going to get to see for the first time in 10 minutes St Helens in the ascendancy, inside, you know, 35 metres away from Catalans line, and the Dragons look flat and defeated, lethargic as well.
Dragons missed the playoffs last year, Kyle. If you were Steve McNamara tonight, would you be getting worried about what the future may hold?
I think so. You never really want to see anybody put into them hot waters, but the amount of money that's been spent, and plus how they limped out, you know, finishing 7th, albeit just to Saints on points difference, let's not forget that. But he would be expecting a much better start than what's been served out here in 25.
Yeah, he's Super League's longest serving coach. But this performance will not warm the hearts of Dragons fans, and it could be more pain to come. What a finish! Lewis Murphy in at the corner. Scintillating stuff from St Helens, and it's one look only. Lewis Murphy is over. A flying Super League finish from Murphy, and Saints putting the icing on the cake.
Yeah, Murphy finishing off. A try that was inside of, you know, the Catalans 35. I said they hadn't been down here for 10 minutes, and that'll be what's disappointing. Wellsby, what a wonderful offload that was from Dion Cross. A try scorer in the first half and a try provider in the second. And Wellsby, they're backing off right edge. Lewis Murphy with a neat finish in that corner. 34-0 now. And this has been a hammering.
An annihilation from the Saints. Beautiful hands. Cross with the assist. And there you go. No need to look at that one again. Murphy celebrates. Well, he showed his skill at Wakefield. That controversial sin binning in the Magic defeat against Leeds, but give him the ball near the line and he knows how to do his job.
No, he's a threat, no doubt about it. The boy can finish. And Dion Cross there. No doubt that Paul Wellens will give him a special mention in the review of that one. Gets in between two. A neat offload. The centres have had a bit of joy tonight.
Well, he's had a bit of a joy tonight as well, Paul Wellens. Not had a lot to smile about. He nearly gave us a smile. 34-0 and he's still not happy.
Well, he won't get too excited. He spoke about wearing everything in this town with pride, and he rides the wave more than most.
Here's Whitby then to keep this 100% record going. Put a little bit more salt in the wound. No, just across the face of goal, and it's 34-0.
First time that Whitby's missed a kick tonight. He can be forgiven. A difficult one. Lewis Murphy putting it down. Almost the last blade of grass on the whitewash.
The locals, the youngsters are happy. They're enjoying it down here at the Totally Wicked. Will there be some more tries for them to cheer in the closing 10? Here goes Walmsley. Moses and Bayern at dummy half. The Saints scored in the opening couple of minutes, and since then it's been one-way traffic. The two coaches who wanted a reaction, Paul Wellens has got a very positive one, and Steve McNamara's side have let him down big time tonight. A frustrating night as they come. As the kick from halfway, was that late? Was that late?
I think it was.
It was. It's knocked on by Saints, but they're going to get a penalty.
There's contact with the head. There's contact with the head.
Roman Navarrete.
Contact with the head.
Makes contact with George Whitby's head just as he kicks the ball over the top. It's pointless, needless. And it pretty much just sums up the Dragons tonight. Need to be a bit tougher.
It's been reviewed, mate. Yeah, in our opinion, it's not forceful and dangerous.
Well, having a look at this, Romain Navarrete.
Cheers, mate. So it's not late, it's just high.
On the grand final with Wigan.
Still on the kick of the winter.
More rightly so. Look, there's nothing in it at all. I can, you know.
It's a slap more than anything.
Yeah, let's get on with the game.
Here's Parsi. He'll drive it in. Saints looking for a third second half try.
Release it now!
And this is getting damaging now.
I think there's another one coming here.
Might be more than one.
Move! Up and square, back the line.
Here's Moses and Bai. Gets it away now. Short pass. Sheridan trying to power his way over. Wrapped up a couple away from the try line. Ball now fires to Wellsby. Wellsby holds onto it for Walmsley. Great pass! And it's a hat-trick for George Whitby. Slides in. What a night for him. What a big night for St Helens. His first Super League hat-trick for George Whitby. And a night to remember for one of the shining lights in the Super League. George Whitby and the Saints bang on form tonight.
Yeah, they all came about. Roman Navarrete. He's ill-disciplined. You just see the high shot here. The effort's right. He gets there with kick pressure, but there's no need to hit him high. And off the back of it, he knew Mark sensed that it was coming, but Jack Welsby, the run from Matty Lees, just pulls a defender in, and then Walmsley, one-on-one, near the line, big man arriving at pace, and is able to pull out a neat offload there for George Whitby, who's had a fantastic evening once again in his young career. There's been some key performers out there tonight, and I think young Whitby's been one of them. A hat-trick. Certainly a night to remember.
Good night to remember for him. Might be the first of many in that famous shirt. Kick is good, and that is 24 points for him on the night.
You're just getting to see the first of Whitby's tries, his hat-trick here this evening. There's the first, and then that was a beautiful piece of play, wasn't it, from Welsby? Well, Whitby supporting like all good halfbacks should do. But then this one, just pushing with a big man, knowing that that ball is able to come out. And fine evening's work for the youngster.
Short kick-off collected. Here goes Ramis Smith. Maybe a consolation in the offing for the Dragons, although the way their night's going, you wouldn't bet on it, would you? Chris Sartai will carry it forward. 6 remaining. And now a 6 again. Here goes Pangai Jr. Gets it away to Farge. Here's Desiree trying to power his way. Great defence. And Paul Wellens now will be really keen that Saints keep that 0 against the Dragons' name. A test right to the end for Saints. Desiree told to get on and play it. Pangai Jr. trying to make things happen. He's wrapped up. Saints know where the danger is, where he's near the try line. Da Costa finds Farr, short pass. Romano carries. Saints scrambling here. This is now about pride for St Helens. Can they keep them out? Navarrete tries to power his way through. He's held up a metre out. Couple of tackles left. They're going now to Kiri. Short pass, Pangai Jr. Saints get their bodies in front. Last one. Now and ever you feel for the Dragons. Here's Desiree. Desiree trying to get to an edge, trying to power his way. They're going to keep him out, and that's the biggest cheer of the night from Saints fans. Nothing doing, no room here for the Dragons.
Yeah, well, I'm sure when Jenner speaks to Paul Wellens about the 40 points he'll score, if it ends this way, I'm sure he'll reference the fact that he's kept them to 0. The St Helens are, well, they're well on the way. They've done it. The first time that they've won a double over Catalan in a season since 2018, in 7 years. And 4 minutes away from doing that.
They are. Will there be one more score for Saints? Can they entertain this crowd yet further? Here is Murphy. Walmsley carries up and over the 30.
It's his 20th carry mark. A big front rower.
Here's the man of the moment, Whitby, finds Lomax, gets it wide to Saylor, goes on the outside and goes to ground just over the 40-metre line. Last one for Saints. Kiri putting pressure on, but the kick is away. And it'll bounce up. Aspero Biche will collect it. He'll get it now away to Fuad Yahar. And it's a night where the Dragons started badly. And it went from bad to worse. For Saints, it's a 6th win. And they're up to 4th. They jump above Leeds and Hull, who meet tomorrow at Headingley. You see that on Sky Sports Plus tomorrow night. I'm just not sure what Steve McNamara can take out of this tonight, if I'm honest, Kyle. It has been as bad as it gets for the Dragons.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's almost as low as it's been probably for the Dragons for a number of years, hasn't it? And they've been absolutely dismantled, torn apart. And the last time that they conceded 40 was in the last round of 2022 at Wigan, 48-4.
Yeah, here they go now. Laguerre gets away from one. Now Laguerre puts his foot down, needs some support. He's dragged out by Walmsley. The big man gets back to make the tackle, and that sums it up.
Yeah, fine game from him. There's been a number of them. Keary with the crossfield kick.
Will it fall for Kotrick? Oh, he's dropped it. Was it Sailor who touched it? I thought Kotrick knocked this on, but referee's going to hand it upstairs. But either way, it's a try. Denied.
Tackle 5. We have no try.
No try.
Can we look at the grounding, please, Jack?
Tackle 5, no try on field, checking grounding, comes from a kick, ball on foot. All Catalans kick chases onside, so into the potential collision and catch, please. So that's always off Percival and backwards, so this would be back to 1. Then going into ground ball, who does this come off? Close on this, and slow. Bit of a frame. Kotrick gets a hand to the ball first and loses the ball forwards in the in-goal area. It will be no try, it will be a 20-metre restart.
No try. Kotrick couldn't take it in. Sailor did just enough to put him off. And the O stays intact for the St Helens defence.
Oh, when it rains, it pours. It's a no try. And another mistake from the Dragons once more.
Cheers, mate. Touch by Kotrick.
Percival comes off him, it goes over the top of him, and Sailor's in loop. And he manages to do enough there. Kotrick spills the ball, Saints survive. They're going to keep that 0 intact.
They're messing about the play of the ball. Dion Cross, good night for him. His first try for St Helens, his hometown team. We'll go inside the final couple of minutes. Ball now carried forward here. Parzy's been good tonight. Saints have been good tonight.
We said before the game it was a test of character, a test of leadership, a test of form. I think Saints have come out tonight with flying colours.
They have, and they might be about to put a little more gloss on the finish. And Bai thinks about the big pass. They went for the intercept, they don't get it, but Smith got enough of Percival. Here now is Clark back into the action. And we tick down to the final 60 seconds. Here's Wellesby. Tries to dribble the kick through, picked up by Sartai, looked to get it away, he couldn't. And the Dragons will end the night, or should end the night, with the ball in their possession. But pointless for them. Spiro Biche, those early errors with ball in hand, really costly. The ball worked along, but there's just no cutting edge to this Dragons side tonight.
No, I mean, Spiro Biche has shown up in 5 form in his 6th appearances this season, but he is still young and he will have these experiences. But you know, tonight he isn't at fault, by the way, for 40 points. Make no mistake about what I'm saying there. I think altogether the Dragons have just been ill-disciplined, loose in contact, and too many missed tackles.
We'll hear from Steve Mack after the game. Pangai Jr. with a chip and chase. Oh, he might get it back. He might get it back, the big man. Little back flick. Going to be picked off. Well, it might look good, but the only person smiling tonight will be Paul Wellens at St Helens. Standing ovation here. And what a night for him. Teenager George Whitby scores a Super League hat-trick. A haul of 24 points. It's a big night for Saints. When Paul Wellens needed his team to stand up, they stood up big time. They kept the Dragons out. And it is a miserable night for Steve McNamara and the Catalan Dragons. Plenty of food for thought for him. He's down the tunnel. Pressure building on Steve McNamara. But it's been a good night for the Saints. They have produced when they needed to produce for their coach. They're into the top 4 then. They've nilled the Dragons. Saints 40, Catalan Dragons 0.